Seems like the Steelers are going to be dealing with a lot more injuries than expected, but it shouldn't affect them too well offensively. But defensively, there are some key ones that the Eagles need to pay attention to, that we need to pay attention to. Eagles need to turn a leaf on Sunday in a nice statement game in Philadelphia, the Battle of Pennsylvania, and a lot to talk about here. So let's get straight into it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend. Big game tomorrow for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Battle of Pennsylvania. Boom, Eagles, Steelers. It's going to be a good one. It's very exciting. We're hoping that the Eagles get back on track, that whatever happened this week is going to motivate them. And then we start this run, winning out this schedule and seeing what happens by the time we hit the playoffs. But obviously, we have to get into the Steelers a little bit more, with more injuries kind of piling up on their case. Now, we've already talked about George Pickens. That's obviously going to be out. That's their number one receiver. That's a big loss for them in this game with a really bad hamstring injury. Didn't play last week, but I thought Russell Wilson played really good without him in the lineup. They still have Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, Mike Williams. They still got some guys. They still got some weapon. They have Najee Harris, obviously, which I think the Eagles should do really well against. Honestly, he's a big back, but I feel like, I feel like he's really not as fast. I mean, he's gonna carry some bodies here or there with some physicality and punch for a few extra yards. But I think they need to treat him like they treated Derrick Henry in that Ravens game: tackle low, 4 or 5 helmets to the football. Make sure you contain that edge and do a good job there, because that's really important for the edge rushers going forward, which we'll get into later in this video. But other big significant injuries, you have Deshaun Elliott at safety, which was their big offseason acquisition that's playing very well. He is out in this game, so their back end is very damaged right now. And their defensive tackle that is out, Larry Okunjobi, really good DT against the run. So this will help Saquon Barkley. This will help us up front. And maybe it will help that matchup with TJ Watt. Maybe they'll be able to give a little bit help to Lane Johnson. Not like he's going to need help, but if TJ Watt is getting a little bit more pressure, they could always help out on that side if they need to give Hurts more time to throw or whatever's going on. We know what the Eagles need to do offensively in these first quarters and these slow starts, and what's going to happen going forward. 17 points for the Eagles in first quarters this season, and you're facing a defense with 28 takeaways, which is number one in the NFL. Okay, you cannot afford to make mistakes against this defense. They still got another good DT that's a lot older. I keep forgetting his name. He's been around the league for a long time. Cameron Hayward. And obviously they have Patrick Queen. So at cornerbacks, obviously Dante Jackson, Joey Porter Jr. I feel like they're going to have to be challenged. I think I want to see what they do against A.J. Brown. I want to see what they do against Devontae Smith. Really open up a lot here. And it really depends on some of the play calling. It really depends on Jalen Hurts in this passing game. You don't want to play from behind, like I said, but an up-tempo offense. You have 2 number 1 receivers going against 2 solid cornerbacks that have been playing pretty good this year. But they've given up some big plays this year. Okay, and with Deshaun Elliott out at safety, Hurts can move his eyes and kind of, lure these safeties into a different area where, you're expecting these one-on-ones to come across the board right now, because, that's what happens when you have firepower on the outside like the Eagles have with both of these receivers. You're hoping that Johnny Wilson can get involved on short yardage. Will they involve Jahan Dotson? I'm not going to hold my breath on this because I've been just wasting my time saying this every single week. So those two should be really good in this game. Calcaterra, let's see if he can add another touchdown to his first he had last Sunday, which is fantastic. The offensive line, obviously Broderick Jones at tackle has been pretty solid for them. He's only given up 3 pressures for the year, but Dan Moore Jr. has given up 27 pressures. Okay, and he's like 21st most in pressures for the season. So, like I said, the edge rushers have got to contain, especially with Najee Harris. Don't create these lanes for Russell Wilson, and obviously these linebackers have to run downhill. We need to try to free Jalen Carter whenever we possibly can in this game. We have to try to free him up, whether you're running stunts, like I said, blitz packages, anything that will help. I would actually at least try to creep Zach Bond, not at the edge position, but creep him over a little bit, kind of make this offense a little bit nervous, and let him blitz and let him just do some damage and chase after Russell Wilson. We really have to try to contain that. So, so the offensive line has been really solid. Isaac Sabalo, the ex-Eagle, is coming back to Philadelphia for the first time since he left to sign as a big free agent acquisition for them going forward. But realistically, I think now, with their DT out and Larry Ogunjobi, I think it really doesn't matter. I think we need to realize that this team can run on anybody. There's going to be those games. And we've ran to a couple of games where the Browns game was a game that we couldn't really run Saquon at all. But Saquon Barkley should have a 125 plus yard day. Okay, we want him to break this Eric Dickerson record. It's not the most important thing, but I think he'll run very successfully on this defense. Honestly, 17th against the run. Okay. We know that they're good against the run, but I think we could still run on any of these teams. The Ravens were the number one rushing defense going in when we went to Baltimore, and look what we did. We were mentally better. We were more physical, and we challenged them, and they couldn't do it. It's a week to week league thing, man. Things do change, but you're talking about Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line. You're not just talking about a regular average back that's just here and playing well. Okay, this is, trust me, a lot of these defenses are honing in on Saquon Barkley. A.J. Brown's going to get a lot of attention until they start to change to the short passing game, up tempo, play action, fake bootleg. I mean, do something, make things a lot quicker, much more simple for Jalen Hurts in this game. The distribution between Saquon to Jalen Hurts, whether Hurts keeps it, hopefully keep these draw plays out of the playbook, let things happen naturally. But I think Saquon will have a really big day with the Eagles, and he really should. But like I said, don't underestimate this Steelers defense, even with the injuries that they have. But I think you can still run, and I think the passes will be there. It depends on the play calling, it depends on Hurts, it depends on the sequence and getting this quarterback into a big rhythm in this game. I think that's what's really important here. So that's where I'm pretty much at with this whole entire situation with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Balls in their court, man, and they have the ceiling to get it done. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be a tough matchup, and the Eagles are, these players cannot worry about what happened this week. I think they're very motivated. I think they're just ready to punch somebody in the mouth this week, and I think they want to kind of just get out of this whole little hole of what they were in this past week, on top of a win against a bad team last week that's been playing relatively better, but all this other nonsense that's been going on as well. If you guys haven't checked out either the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely check it out for the holiday season. We sell hoodies, we sell t-shirts, women t-shirts, youth t-shirts, crew neck sweatshirts, all that great stuff. Been selling like crazy. Go pick yours up today. And the big sale for Christmas. Buy 2, get 10% off. Buy 3, get 15% off. Buy 4, get 20% off. And if you spend $150 or more, you get free shipping with your order. So check that out. Link is in the description for the Philly Shakedown merch for a big sale. Everything will be shipped ASAP. You will have it before Christmas as a gift for your loved ones, whoever you're sending it to. It will all be there. So appreciate it so much. But other than that, I want to know from you guys, what do you think, even with some of the injuries the Pittsburgh Steelers have, what do the Eagles need to do offensively, especially to get a quicker start? Do you think it's going to change, or do you think it's going to look the same every single game? Because it seems like things are just not changing when it comes to getting that quick start. Okay. And that's where we're kind of at right now. Are you worried about the edge rush position? You worried about the defensive line? Does the game against the Panthers, you kind of think if that bleeds into this game, you're kind of worried about that. And on top of everything else, Jake Elliott, that's a whole nother thing we got to talk about too, because the Rams game he was ugly, the Ravens game he was fantastic, and then back to the Panthers game he was horrible. So these are two really bad games from Jake Elliott. Like, you can't afford to have a player that's that inconsistent. And it's only been a few weeks, but I mean, if he plays bad in this game and we still win, still, like, I don't know. Kickers, when it comes to kickers and their careers, it is done in a flash and a blink of an eye. And let me tell you, he has another bad game like this, I don't even know what to really say at this point. So he really needs to be on target. We need to see his confidence come back. Didn't win up and down, too inconsistent. He's got to stay more consistent than anybody else on this team, because at the end of the day, if we can't get these drives done, it's going to come down to Jake Elliott. Okay, and if he becomes a big weakness for us, the Eagles will have to work out another kicker later on. And I don't really want that, because I like Jake, but business is business at the end of the day for him and the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's where I'm at with that situation. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.